Hey, it's Luke Farley here from iGen Entrepreneur, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how I made my first £1,000 online and how you can do the same too. So for those who don't know, a couple of years ago I was a student at university, pretty broke, looking to make some money online. From there I've now managed to make a full-time income online, selling on Amazon through their Fulfillment by Amazon scheme, and I've managed to drop out of university, travel around Australia, and now I'm working from the comfort of my own home, and it all started with online arbitrage. So what I'm going to do is jump into my computer and go from there. Alright, so now we're at the computer, I can dig into what is online arbitrage and how has it made me a full-time income, but more importantly for you, if you're starting out, how is it going to make you that first £1,000? The best place to start is, well, what is online arbitrage? If you haven't done it before, if you've not heard the word, you're going to have no idea. So to break it down, we are basically buying items from one store and selling it on another. I'm based in the UK, so I'm going to use the example of buying it from retail stores like Argos or Tesco and then selling it on Amazon. Everything I buy is sold on Amazon. For my first £1,000, I started with a couple £100. You can start with more or less. The more you have, the better, but I'm going to get into that shortly. What I will say is this video is going to be by no means a all-inclusive guide that would take hours and hours and hours. This is going to give you a rough overview so that you can make that first £1,000. If you do want a deeper dive, there'll be a link in the description to a full training. So the color scheme here is awful, but all you need to worry about is the 1, 2, 3, 4. What this is outlining is the key to why this model works. It's called Fulfillment by Amazon, and that is Amazon's scheme whereby they will provide the customer service, they will store your items, and they will fulfill those orders when they are placed. So this is why you can do it from anywhere really. You can buy an item, you'll then send it into Amazon Fulfillment Center. So as you can see there, number 1, you can send boxes and boxes and boxes of stock. Amazon will then store your products until a customer purchases that item. As you can see there, number 3. And then I don't know why that says number 2, it should say number 4, not my graphic, but Amazon then fulfills that order. So they pick the item, they pack it, and then ship it to the customer. So yeah, the reason why this is awesome is because Amazon is such a large marketplace, there's tons of customers, and we're going to get into exactly why it works, but the key here is that you don't have to store these items. You can buy them, get them sent into Amazon, and then Amazon will do the rest of the work for you. So why does it work exactly? Why doesn't these customers just go onto the retailer sites and buy it themselves? Well, there's a few reasons. Some of them you can class it as laziness, you can class it as convenience. Amazon is like Google but for shopping. It really is that powerful. I mean, this isn't going to apply to everyone, but how often have you wanted something and you just hop onto Amazon, search for it and bought it, right? It's perceived as a trustworthy platform, it's got everything you need and you can just get it. And then this comes on to the next point, the Prime. If you can see this graphic here, Amazon has over 1 million Prime customers, and I think that's just based in the United States. So the reason why Prime is so important for those who don't know, that subscription means that people get next day delivery on items they buy, and it's a subscription, so people feel like they need, when they're paying for it, they need to get the most out of it. So they go onto Amazon, they buy these items, and that's where you come in because you're providing these items to the customers, right? The next thing is because you can't always get these items easily. So for example, if it's a clearance item and you can't get it anymore, it's been discontinued, or it's only available locally. So with Argos, for example, sometimes you can only get their stock locally. If it's in stock in your area but not somewhere else, then people might not be able to even get it. Another reason why is delivery fees. So say on some sites you've got to spend like £50 to get free delivery. If you're buying a £10 item, then you've got to spend £5 on delivery, and it's going to take 4 or 5 days. Why wouldn't you just spend like £20, so a few pound more, and get it next day, right? It's convenient, it's easy. That's kind of another reason why it works. Another reason is because sometimes you can't find these items very easily. That's kind of the point of online arbitrage. You're finding these deals, these items that are going to make you a profit, and you're going to learn how to find these items easily. But a general consumer, they're not going to spend time searching for these items because they just want one. They're not going to buy multiple of them to keep selling for a profit. So if I give you an example, there's some pharmacy stores that are based in Europe, for example, that are very difficult to, like, you wouldn't have heard of them, but when you know about them and you can buy items from them and sell them on Amazon for a profit, that's why it works. So I often get the question, well, why don't consumers just buy it from the retailers themselves? That's why it works. And the Prime and the FBA infrastructure is what makes it awesome. So how much do you need to invest? Okay. I'm going to be honest with you here. This is completely up to you. The more you invest, this is a capital game. The more you invest, the faster you're going to get a return on that money. And so to make that first £1,000, it's going to depend on two things. It's going to depend on how much you can invest. Actually, three things. How much you can invest, what return on that investment you can get, and how fast you can get that return. So I'm going to jump into Google Sheet now, and then we're going to carry on from there. Alright, so you've probably seen a lot of numbers jumping at you right now. Don't worry, I'm going to work through these examples and it's all going to make sense. You'll find a lot of people will just say, oh, you got to invest this much, you can invest 100 quid. Right, it doesn't really answer the question, and I'm going to break it down to you here. So your first £1,000 you want to make profit. You need to have a return on investment. So what this means is, if you spend £1, what return are you going to get? If you can get a 42% return on investment, that means for every £1 you spend, you're going to get £1.42 back. And the reason why I use 42 is just because that's going to give you close to 1,000 at the example I use. So I've just picked an example of £250. Say you've got £250 lying around and you can turn over your items once a month, which is a bit of a simplification, but I'll get onto it. This just shows the power of compounding, okay? So this formula here is just 250 times by 1.42 to the power of 4, because you're saying you can turn it over 4 times your investment. So to just break that down really clearly, if we start with £250, we buy £250 worth of stock, we then sell that and get a return on investment of 42%, and we can do that 4 times. So once we've got that return on 42%, we reinvest the money, we buy more stock, we sell it again, and we do that 4 times, then you've hit that £1,000, right? And yeah, okay, that's not 1,000 profit because you start with 250, but I'm going to get onto more examples here. And really, the point is, it depends how much you start with. So if you play around with this, if you start with 200, it's going to take you longer, right? You're going to have to turn your cash over 5 times. That's really what this means. It's just assuming you can do it once a month. If your ROI goes down, again, you're going to have to turn it over more times. That's what that means, okay? And so that's just showing you the power of, one, increasing your ROI, and I'm going to get onto how you do that in a minute. Turning over your stock faster, again, I'm going to get onto how you do that in a minute. But what you can control now is how much you can invest. Not everyone's going to have thousands lying around. Some people are going to have a few hundred, but the point is you can get started with even a few hundred. There are ways. But let's say you had 1,000 to invest, just to show you the power. Okay, so if we go back here, so it's a even comparison. So if we had 1,000 to invest, and we had the same, kept the other things the same, so our ROI is the same, returning the cash over 4 times, look at the power. So what I'm really getting at here is, if you can afford to give up some of those luxuries, those takeaways, those things, you can generate profit faster, grow your business faster, but that's optional, okay? I'm just trying to be as complete as possible here. What about if you had 2,500? If you turn your, and after, say you only turn your cash over every 2 months, so you can turn it over 12 times in 2 years, and you start with £2,500, look at that figure you can get to. £168,000. If you keep all the money in your business, keep turning it over, keep generating money, and obviously if you want to take out a profit out of that as a salary, paying yourself, that's awesome. The point here we're getting at is this is ROI. So what I'm getting to here is you've got to know how to hit that 42%. If we compare 42%, it can be more, can be less, but the point is, if you're getting 42% compared to 20%, look at the difference. This is 22,290, 168,000, 145,000 pounds difference. That is the power of boosting your ROI as high as you can, even if it's only a 2% difference, right? That is crazy. I don't know about you, but to me that is crazy. 2% difference in ROI. Okay, and that's what I'm going to show you shortly. So yeah, I'm giving you more examples here to try and just really emphasize this point because it is important. Yeah, we've just touched on this. It's the same kind of thing. Basically just looking at, this is 1 year instead of 2 years. So we're saying if we can, so again, when I'm saying a cash cycle, what I mean is if you buy stock, sell it, get that cash back, it's how long you take from buying that stock to then getting the return, the money back on that stock. If any of this is confusing, feel free to ask in the comments. But yeah, check out the training that I mentioned at the top of the description because it's going to go into a lot more detail. Alright, so now we're at the important bit. How do you hit that target ROI? And I've just put a picture here of my stats over the past 30 days so that you can see that it is possible. I'm not making these figures up, right? My sales over the past 30 days have been over £65,000, over £10,000 in profit at an ROI of 40%. To be completely transparent, these are gross figures, which means it doesn't take into account my fixed costs. I'm not going to get into too much details here, but they're costs that don't vary with how much I sell. They're costs like what I pay my accountant, for example. If you're just starting out, you don't need to worry about this detail. But I just want to be fully transparent, so it's not like I'm trying to make it out like I'm making more than I am. So those fixed costs for me, because I'm doing large scale, I've built up to it, about £2,500 per month. So my net profit for this month was £8,000. And just think about what that means to you. For most people, that can replace a full-time income, right? This is the power. And as I touched on, I only started with a couple £100, £300, kept building it up as I went along. And since August 2018, when I've started, I've now got to this stage here. This shows you the power of really investing, hitting that high ROI. So how do you hit that target ROI? Okay, so again, this isn't going to be a full in-depth training, so it'll take hours, but I'm going to give you a couple of tips. One, you need to be using Keeper. Keeper will allow you to analyze how fast an item is selling. In general, when there is a drop in the green line on the Keeper graph, that indicates one or more sales. So the more drops you're seeing, the faster the item is selling. And I just want to now touch on that point. You're looking at items that are already selling, okay? And that's important because you're not spending any money on ads. I haven't spent a single pence on ads since I've started because you're using existing traffic to these listings. As I said, it's like Google for shopping. There's already these items listed on Amazon. We're just finding them and then jumping onto these listings, not spending any money on ads. We're looking at how fast it's selling, buying these products that are making us a profit, and then selling them. So that's the second bit. How do we know how much profit we're making? So you're going to be using a deal analyzer. Amazon has a free FBA calculator. If you type in Amazon FBA fee calculator, you'll see the calculator and you can put in your cost price and your other fees and you can see how much profit you're making on each item. So all you need to do in simple terms is find an item on a retailer website, find an item on Amazon, look at how fast it's selling, look how much profit it's making you, so using Keeper, using Amazon's FBA fee calculator, and then looking at how many you're going to buy buying them, selling them, and making a profit. Again, there is more in depth that we need to go to, but I'm now going to tell you how you can ramp that up. So first of all, I mentioned there's a free training, there's a link in the description to that. But if you've got this far, you want to make that first £1,000 online, or perhaps you've already been making some money with online arbitrage. If you got this far, I know that you're committed and you're willing to put the effort in, right? You haven't just turned off when you heard that you have to put in a bit of work. This isn't a get-rich scheme. It requires effort. But what I want to do now is offer you a way to follow what I've done, the system that I've used, I've implemented to get to this stage. And so I'm going to drop a link into the academy that I've set up, where I show you over the shoulder what I've done in a really structured way with mentoring for life, how I've achieved these figures. So that's the key. How do you hit this target ROI? We've talked about the other factors. The cash investment's up to you, but if you've got cash and you're not hitting the target ROI, it's meaningless. But let's just jump back to these figures, right? What is the value of something like this to you? Let's go back to this example just to finish off. If you can hit, we'll use my example as 40%, right? Capital, 2.5 grand. Let's just say even 1,000. Okay. What is the difference between a 40% ROI and a 20% ROI? You can get a 20% ROI fairly easily. But what I want to show you is my almost 2 years of experience, the stats I've just generated, how you can hit that 40% ROI, and look at the difference here. That can be the difference between you generating £8,900 versus almost £57,000, which is almost £48,000 different. Okay? So what is the value of that academy to you? That's the question I'm going to leave you with. And if you're interested, check out the description. Apart from that, hopefully this has given you an idea. It does work. Stats don't lie. If you're interested in finding out more about me, I'll leave a link into the website as well, so you can find my story. I hope this has helped, and I'll see you in the next video, rather. Bye.